Jack is a great guy. He's written a fantastic book. Everybody's talking about it. Go get it. And he's been my friend right from the beginning of this whole beautiful event. And we're going to turn it around and make our country great again. Amen.
All right, Jack Posobiec, we're back here. Human Events Daily, Real America's Voice. We're on with Secretary Brooke Rollins. And Secretary, I'm so sorry that we had to take that quick break because you were just telling us about this, and I'm actually fascinated. I'd love to hear the rest of the story because you were on a text chain, just a friendly text chain with the other ladies of the cabinet, as you were saying, as the news broke about at first, of course, it was the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and then later we, obviously learn more and more. Tell us more about that. Obviously, if as much as you can.
It was, and I know it's weird, Jack. Maybe now looking back, it doesn't seem surprising, but the Charlie that I had worked with for 13 or 14 years, that you've known forever and ever, to think what a huge impact. Even the airplane I was on. As the news came that he was shot, and as we were in the air, he's maybe going to make it, and then he didn't make it, and that all happened from the moment I took off to the moment I landed between Texas and Washington. And I say that because that text string is was my connection, and it was again with the other 6 ladies of the cabinet, and we were all, what have you heard? Have you heard Pam, our Attorney General? Do you have any information? Maybe, and obviously, but she didn't, but. We finally all got to the point where we knew he had been assassinated, and so to share that grief and we started the whole conversation with putting God in the middle of it, and without God, how do we even begin to process something like this? But it was so dark and so heartbreaking in such a way, for a lot of reasons. But I got off the plane in Washington. Everything we were supposed to be in the White House in the Rose Garden that night for dinner. We had a cabinet dinner scheduled that night in the Rose Garden. Of course, canceled that. We all just went home and were kind of constantly talking to each other. The next day, of course, is 9/11, and the entire cabinet goes that morning to the Pentagon to basically commemorate or memorialize, 9/11. And we were in a little room, and again, I don't think anyone's ever even told this story yet. It's the first time. We were in a room at the Pentagon, waiting to go out and take our places for the names to be called for everyone that had died at the Pentagon on 9/11. And we were standing there, and Scott Turner is our housing secretary, and he's also a pastor. And I lead a lot of Bible studies and have had a massive kind of been a faith leader on the conservative side for a long time. So I called us all together, the whole cabinet. We all held hands, all crying, talking about what Charlie meant to all of us. And this is the cabinet of the United States of America, just to underscore what a huge person and impact he had on everybody. And then Secretary Turner led us in a beautiful prayer commemorating Charlie's life and what a light he had been, and truly a man of God in the most amazing way. And that was Wednesday morning, right? So we're less than 24 hours out from when he was murdered, and still processing. But then, Jack, and I'm curious kind of your story too on this, then you began to see the world wake up and take to the streets and hold up Charlie's face and just talk about what an amazing light he was. And so in a way, it was this devastation of losing someone that you loved and you were so close to, but then realizing that his legacy and what he stood for is forever. It's not that, not that he was taken out in a car crash or he died of an illness, not that he still wouldn't have had an amazing, legendary story that would have been told by a lot of people. But as Erica said yesterday, that he's wearing the crown of a righteous martyr. He ran the race. He kept the faith. He changed hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives. And now today, he's perhaps even more important than he was on September the 9th, the day before he passed away, in spreading and making disciples of all the nations. The final thing I'll say, and I'm talking way too much, I apologize, but this is actually the first long-form interview I've done on Charlie, so it's very special to me. Thank you. The final thing that I think is important, we have a cabinet Bible study every Wednesday morning don't post about it. We don't talk about it. But they all come to USDA, which is where I am right now. We meet in my office and we have a Bible study. So this morning we had one, and our leader this morning was talking about our founding fathers and where they stood in terms of their faith and how that was such an important part of the founding of our country. And our Bible study leader this morning was talking about Thomas Jefferson, and he on his own said, Charlie Kirk is in a way the modern day Thomas Jefferson. Such an intellect, surrounded by books, could never read enough, had at such a youthful age this amazing leadership ability. So that was pretty special to hear. Even in our cabinet Bible study, Charlie's being compared to Thomas Jefferson. I thought that was incredible.
We had Charlie and I used to have a running. I just popped into my head. Dude, like little things just trigger memories, and just popped in my head that Charlie and I used to have a running competition to see who could read more books in a year, and he gets so upset if I was like, oh, I've got, I'd be like, oh, I've got 45 or I've got 50, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm working on 51, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it by New Year's. And I was like, okay, all right, sure you will, sure, So, and it was just very, very competitive. You know how guys are.
I love it.
And that was very much, part of the, part of the nature of our relationship. And I mean, there's so many things I'll miss. Like there's no question. But Secretary, and I have to ask you this as well, because we're on at such a time as this. We're talking about the incredible legacy of Charlie, but at the same time, and I know that the whole of government is focused on this. There is a problem in this country of political violence, and unfortunately, if you're a conservative, if you're publicly known as a conservative in this country, it's to put a target on your back. And I'm sure you and your family have faced this, your staff, your organization. What is going on here that this has happened?
Yeah, it's so true. And it's funny. For better or worse, I don't spend any time thinking about it. And, for that, when I hear Erica talk about Charlie being fearless, I'm not comparing myself to Charlie, but I could connect with that because it doesn't even occur to me. And even as a cabinet member, I now have full security detail, right? 24/7. These guys are like my family now. We spend a lot of time together, but it doesn't occur to me. But when I got home after Charlie's death and I walked in, and I have 4 kids, 2 still at home, sophomore and senior in high school, Anna and Lily, 15 and 17. And then my 2 Aggies, Luke and Jake, are 19 and 20. And all love Charlie Kirk. In fact, Luke hung out with Charlie when he did the Texas A&M visit last year, which was such a huge success. But I walked in, and my 17-year-old Anna, who's so strong and loves the Lord, and she leads 4 Bible studies a week. She's just a remarkable young lady. And I walked in, and she said, with tears and almost weeping, and she's very strong. She's not a weeper. She just said, Mom, I'm terrified for you. And so you realize that this has, even if you're fearless and, if it's my time, it's my time, and I'm fighting for America, and what I'm facing is a lot less than our founding fathers or Lincoln or whomever fought before us. But you realize what a ripple effect it has on your children, your spouses, your family, your friends, and that we are in a really, really dark time in American history. And the political violence that we see, and I know you've talked about this so much, Jack, and I'm such a fan of yours and what you've built, and just what an incredible warrior you are. But you know this, and your audience knows this. We lose Charlie, and we're holding prayer vigils and worship services, and had the biggest church service perhaps in history with the 60,000 plus at Charlie, 70,000 in Arizona. Is amazing what they do.
And that's what we're about. We're not the
right.
ones that are going out to federal buildings and setting fires and attacking agents. No, we pray, and the only fires we set are the ones on the tops of candles that we're holding at the candlelight vigil. Secretary Rollins, we are just about out of time for the show. Thank you so much, and God bless you for joining us today.
Thank you, Jack. So great to be with you.
Thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you have my permission to lay ashore.